All right. Hello, everybody. I am here to kind of explain what is called DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model. And what this means is that the document that we have is the HTML typically. So the DOM basically alters or changes anything within the HTML. So as you see here, we have a simple HTML that has hello world here at the top. It has a blue button and a red button and a yellow button. And it has an input section and another submit button right here. So it's a very simple HTML, not too much to worry about here. The only CSS that I have within here is the background's going to be white and the letter coloring is black and the text align is center. So what this does is with DOM, the way that it is ordered is you're first going to call a document. So you're going to write document, meaning the HTML, and you're going to decide what you're going to want to change. So what I did here is when I click the blue button, it changes the background to blue, the red button to red, and the yellow button to yellow. As of right now, the element and the submit button don't do anything. So once you've decided what you're going to change, what I want changed is I want within the document, I want to find the element that has the ID of blue, which is this button right here. So this is the element that I want changed. And I'm going to add what is called an event listener. An event listener basically means that when you interact with this in any way, then this function will happen. So the event listener I have is called click. There's also mouse over, mouse out, meaning if you hover over something, something will happen. If you go away from something, something will happen. So right here, I declared a variable. I put document.getElement by ID blue, which is going to call that element right there. Now with that element, I'm going to add the event listener of click so that when this button is clicked, it's going to run this function that I have here called change blue. And basically what this does is kind of what I showed you earlier. When I click, then this function happens that within the document, the body, the style, it goes kind of one after the other. So the document, body, style, background color equals blue. Now all I did was copy and paste each one of these for each different button and change that the button ID for red makes it red. Same with yellow. So I can do this with as many colors as I want, as long as I make it a function for this. I'm sure there are easier ways to do it so that you only have to create one function, but I'm just starting from the very basics. So now I'll kind of walk along with you and we're going to write a quick function that'll change this from hello world to goodbye world. Actually, we're not going to use a function at all. I'm going to write document dot get element by ID, and I am going to put in quotation marks where hello world is. So the ID for this hello world element is header. Now what I can do if I wanted to is I can do dot inner HTML equals goodbye world. As you can see here, goodbye world was changed, or hello world was changed. Even though hello world is in the original HTML, what is showing is goodbye world. So it is changing the inner HTML to goodbye world. Now there's a couple things you can do here. You can do inner HTML, or you can do inner text, and it does the same thing. With inner text, it'll just change the text that's right here within the HTML. If I wanted to do something else, I could do HTML, and I could write an entire HTML script. So I could go H1 goodbye world H1. Whoops. H1. And once again, don't forget to put that in brackets. And it did the same exact thing. As you see, it doesn't have these in here because I am literally changing the HTML to this exact thing. So if I wanted to change this H1 goodbye world to an H2, you see there it got smaller, or even H4. It got even smaller. So it's changing it from a heading 1 to a heading 4, even though the original is heading. If you wanted to put a picture there, you could change this entire H1 to a picture. So that's the difference between inner HTML and inner text. If you were to do inner text right here, then we all of a sudden have the entire thing. Concerning the get element by ID, you can use get element by ID, or there's another one where you can use get elements with an S by class. And with this one, it is taking a class and it is changing it using the class. The only difference with this is that with classes, you can have multiple classes that have the class of red. Like here, I have the class of button. So if I wanted to use the class of button, this would change or get every single instance within button. And we don't want that. So in order to specify it, we have an index of 0. So it's going to go and find the first class that has button, which would be this one. Or if I were to change that to 1, it would be the following one, or 2, it would be this one here. So you can do it that way, but with using IDs, it is a lot more stable and you shouldn't have as many problems. What we're going to do is we're going to try to get an input from within here and create a list using this element right here. So what you're going to do is I'm going to say we're going to get the button. So we're going to do let submit equal document dot get element by ID, and we're going to use the ID of submit because we're trying to get the button. Submit. Put a colon afterwards. So now when submit dot, and we have the add event listener here, which we can just change right here.